Well, since the last meeting, the Secretariat has not received any comments on our draft minutes. If there are none, can we confirm the minutes now? Sorry, speaker is off mic. Regarding railway incidents, I hope that the administration can submit an information paper as soon as possible. Yes. Subsequent to the last meeting, we have not issued any information paper. The next meeting is scheduled for the 1st of March at 10:45. The administration has proposed to discuss with us the review and update of the Railway Development Strategy 2000. At the first meeting, members made a lot of comments regarding the North Link and also extension of the island line, so on and so forth. And number of proposed development for the MTR, and this will all be covered in the next meeting. So I suggest that we have only one agenda item, so that we can have more time for members to deliberate. We will divide the meeting into different slots for more detailed discussion of the different proposals. Yes. And what about the extension of the Tung Chung line? It's not found in the draft minutes. I don't see it on page 3, items A to J, although it is already found in the list of outstanding items and follow-up issues. Mr. Wang Guoheng, I also like to have a report on the railway incidents that happened during our break. Yes, it's already on the list of outstanding items. Right, if there is no objection, the next meeting is scheduled for the 1st of March at 10:45. We'll discuss the item proposed by the administration, review and update of the RDS 2000. Okay? And now we go into agenda item 4. Railway system for South Island Line East, SIL East. Let us welcome Mr. Yao Xingmo, Secretary for Transport and Housing, acting, and also his team. And then from the MTRCL, we have the chief engineer as well as colleagues, and also have the assistant director from the EMSD, and also chief engineer from the highways department. I will leave the introduction to a later stage. Secretary, over to you. Please walk us through the paper. Thank you. The SIL East is a new railway link, a line linking Admiralty with South Horizons in Ap Lei Chau, with a total length of 7 kilometers and 4 stations, linking up the southern part of the island with the existing railway network to provide convenient and reliable railway service for residents of the southern district. The construction started in May 2011, and works are progressing smoothly, and it's expected that completion will be in 2015. Well, the MTRCL has adopted new railway systems for SIL East regarding the headway, the configuration, and all other things are similar to the existing lines of the MTRCL. And then the system will be run by fully automatic operations, FAO, because this is rather a new system. the MCLCL has prepared a PowerPoint presentation to explain to members the SILE's railway systems. And after the presentation, we'll take questions from members. Over to the MCLCL. Mr. Leung. Mr. C.L. Leung. Good morning, Chairman and members. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to brief you on the SILE's background information. The SILEs will link up with the central business areas of the island to the southern district. It will go through the tunnel to reach Ocean Park, Shert, Wong Shuk Hang, Lei Tong, and 5 horizons. There are about 5 stations covering 7 kilometers, and the end-to-end journey time is about 11 minutes. And then the trains deployed will be similar to those in the urban lines, and the maximum speed is about 80 kilometers per hour, run by FAO, fully automated operation. And I will elaborate on this later. First, the construction progress. We started works in in May 2011. We have made 7 video clips. Most of the viaducts are completed, and for this section crossing the Aberdeen Channel, it is now go ahead in full steam. And then Admiralty will be a major interchange station. Passengers can interchange to Chunwan Line or Island Line, and then even the Sha-Tin to Central Link will have its interchange here. The depot is situated in Wong Chuk Hang. The foundation works are already completed. We are now doing the superstructure. And at Ocean Park, we're working on the ventilation building. The train design. This is what we propose. It looks not too different from the urban trains, although more modernized. The color is not yet confirmed. It will will have a gray tone and slightly lighter. And as for the general specifications, we have taken into account body dynamics, and we've also discussed with passenger groups. We have incorporated their views. We hope that it will look pleasant and modernized. Our design concept is to minimize energy use, to use renewable energy as far as possible, and to enhance system reliability. For the use of regenerative energy, for the lifts and escalators, there is energy consumption, and when the escalators, elevators go down, there will be energy loss. We will have a regenerative energy system. The potential energy will be turned to kinetic energy for use by other operation systems. We will have a super capacity storage system installed. For the SIL, because of the topography of the alignment, there are lots of uphill and downhill sections. There is regenerative braking, and in SIL there are more uphill and downhill sections. The amount of regenerative energy cannot be used immediately by other trains. So we will have a supercapacitor storage system stop the electricity for use by other trains later. The overhead lines. Our standards are just the same as international systems. We, at appropriate sections, we will use solid conductor rail. It will be supported propped up by various structures. It will be more durable, and then the structure is a conductor, and it will lower the resistance and reduce energy loss by about 40%. The system design. We're going to install a remote train monitoring system. and diagnosis system, so that our colleagues at Qingyi can have remote monitoring of the trains and to take early intervention to deal with possible incidents and to minimize disruption to passengers. It also has automatic recovery system, so there can be remote recovery. We also have redundant system or equipment, because the signaling system is the most critical system. So at the front and end of the trains, there will be this system. So this is a bit redundant, but then this will ensure that recovery can take place very quickly. Well, in Qingyi, we have the remote monitoring center. We have a 3-tier control system. If there's something wrong with Qingyi, then the control can then be handed over to the backup control room in Admiralty. In case there is a disruption in Admiralty, the control can be delegated to various stations to ensure smooth running of trains. For SIL, we will have three compartments, and for each train there will all the cars are motor cars. In case there is problem with one or two cars, there will be sufficient power for the remaining car to drive the train back to the depot to minimize disruption to passengers. So I've talked about the system already. I would like to talk about the FAO. Before we talk about that, I'd like to talk about our operation principles of modern metro. Almost all railway systems of developed cities are using this. We have the ATP signaling system to avoid overspeeding and also collision. However, driving is done by the ATO system. That means the ATP system can start and stop and control the speed, open and close the doors in a fully automatic mode. For some terminals, there has to be trains have to turn around, and we have this automatic train turn back. So the system is highly automatic already, but for the new generation of FAO, it will be truly fully automatic. As I said, our current system is highly automatic. The main duty of the driver is to handle emergencies and to communicate with passengers. In future, if passengers require assistance, they can press the emergency button, and currently it will be linked up with the driver. In future, it will be fed to our control center, and the person in charge there will communicate with the passengers and offer assistance to the passengers. It will just be the same as the current situation. A passenger needs only to press the button, and his needs will be addressed to. Under the FAO, there is a remote control system, and then at the control center, the situation inside the compartment can be seen through the CCTV. So this is not really something new. You might have ridden on various subways when traveling in other places. In the early 1980s, such systems were on trial in Japan, North America, and Europe and other places. But back then, it was for medium capacity trains. But starting from the 1990s, larger systems in Taipei, Tokyo, Singapore, and Paris were using the same. And then later on, Hong Kong also joined the league. Let me quote a few examples. In Paris, the first line to adopt FAO, line 14, is a heavy-duty railway. It was opened in 1998. The system was found to be very successful and reliable, much reliable than other lines in Paris.
With this success, other lines also renovated. And now the business line, line 1, has completed renovation. It was commissioned in 2011. It was a busy line with daily patronage of 725,000. For Singapore, there is this northeast line. After it was opened in 2003, with this success, all the new subway lines have now adopted the FAO. And the Taipei Mucha Wenshan line and the Seoul Sin Bundang line, which is quite special because it is a suburban line, and we have closely liaised with other railway companies to share our experience on the technology and operational experience. For Hong Kong, we also experience. We have the MTR Disney line and the Hong Kong Airport APM. So we have gained much experience in FAO. So why should we adopt FAO? There are 3 reasons. First, we want to improve system reliability with the system redundancy and auto recovery functions, and human error can also be reduced. Because for handling of incidents, this will be in the hands of the officer in the OCC, and it will also enhance incident handling efficiency because of the enhanced remote monitoring and the efficiency in handling incidents. It can also improve customer service. In particular, for the South Island line, or in the South District currently, it relies heavily on the Aberdeen Tunnel. During traffic congestion or inclement weather, traffic congestion can be very serious. So we can increase train headways to divert passengers. At present, it is quite difficult to flexibly change train services because we need to summon drivers to come back to work, and they need to go back to Wong Chuk Hang depot. Some checking will have to be done on the train to ensure safety before the train can set off to take up passengers. But in future, the officer at the control center will only need to input certain commands in the computer to activate the train. The train can then carry out auto checking itself before it sets off to pick up passengers. This will ensure more accurate and timely and reliable train services. To implement the system, we also need to have necessary facilities at the stations. For example, station platform screen doors with emergency stop switch, so that the train can be stopped after entering the station. There will also be a protection key switch to stop the train inside the tunnel to ensure safety. At the depot, again, it's automatic, so that train services can be provided in a timely manner, and there will be prevented unauthorized access to automatic area. Segregation will be set up to divide between automatic and non-automatic area. Then there will be security access management system, and there will be a certain access procedure for staff to go through before one can enter the automatic area. And the MTR introduces a state-of-the-art technology for energy management and train control for South Island Line East. And we have proven experience in automatic train control technology and operation, and we have been liaising closely with our counterparts in various countries in sharing this knowledge and experience. And we also have a stringent system to ensure safety, and we will also enhance communication with the public so that the public also understands the future design and operation of the stations and the line, so as to ensure smooth operation of the SILE. So much for my presentation. Anything to supplement, Secretary? Chairman, I'm happy to take questions from members. All right, if there's nothing to supplement, then the floor is now open for members to ask questions. Please raise your hands now in one go. I'll just read out the names: Deng Guap, Pio Wong, Kwok Hing, Lo Wai Kwok, Regina Yip, Chung Shu, Christopher Zhong, etc. Any others? I'll draw a line here. We still have one more item to go. Mr. Michael Tin. Can I ask the question first? You're second from the last. I'll need to seek members' agreement first. Any objection? No? Then I'll let him ask a question first. Mr. Michael Tin. Thank you. Now about the Wenzhou accident. Well, there is an automatic system with a manual override. The manual override is dependent on the driver. Well, for the Wenzhou train incident, the automatic system went down, and there was a manual override. Say if something happens to the first train, whether the following train would ram into it, well, that depends on the manual override. Usually, for example, for the Disneyland line, it's a very short journey. Well, have you thought about it? I mean, if something like this happens, how can you guarantee fail safe? Because there won't be any driver. It's a 3-car configuration with a headway of 3 to 4 minutes, and you cannot have additional car compartments. So what's the maximum headway? Say if it's say if patronage increases, how can you increase the capacity? What is the maximum total capacity so that the line would not be wasted? May I defer to the MTRCL? Mr. Long. Thank you, Mr. Tin. About the signaling system. You are very familiar with it. It's a fail-safe design that is to ensure passengers' safety. If the system is faulty, the train would come to a stop automatically. There is a stringent system assurance mechanism to ensure its operation on this basis. We also have engaged our independent consultant to confirm that our design will be safe. Well, in case of emergency, of course, manual override will take place, and when this happens, the officer at the control center will, based on the circumstances, introduce measures. Well, it's not different from the existing practice. The officer, the OCC, set out guidelines for drivers to follow. As for the actual measures to be taken, that depends on the nature of the incidents. There will be different response to different incidents. As for the 3-car configuration, it's based on several considerations. First, the population of the South District is less densely populated than other urban areas, and we think the 3-car configuration would already be able to cope with the demand in the Southern District. The advantages of 3-car configuration is that more frequent headways can be provided so that the frequency can correspond to other lines. I'm sorry, Chairman, since I'm jumping the queue, I need to make good use of the time. I'm asking about the maximum peak hour headway. Approximately 30 trains per hour, so that's a headway of around 2 minutes. Now it's 3 to 4 minutes. Well, before the line is commissioned, we will review the situation. Because with the money invested in this line, at most the capacity can be doubled, and if demand exceeds that, we would need to construct another line. That's based on the our calculations and population projections. I'm not asking about population. I'm talking about the increase in capacity. That is, you can at most double it. The original plan was that for South Island Line we have the east and the west section, and the estimation has already taken into account the 2 extensions. Well, for the manual override, it is the case that no driver will be on board. It will be controlled solely by the OCC. All right, I need to put this on record. Mr. Tan Ka-pil. We have been discussing this project for 2 terms already. So I'm also concerned about this project as well. Say, for example, for Ocean Park, because of the Ocean Park, the patronage will be increased drastically, and you should have a better estimation. It seems that there is little flexibility in terms of its capacity. Well, in the presentation, I don't see any user-friendly design in terms of the station. Is there any drinking fountain, toilets, etc., or nursery rooms? I want to know something about that. Third point, whether there will be any seats for the disabled in the 3-car configuration. If so, please tell us. Last point, there is a Tonghua Group of Hospitals Rehabilitation Center near the Wong Chuk Hang depot, and I'd like to know whether any complaints have been received from MTR. Thank you, Chairman.
Members are concerned as to whether we can cope with the surge in visitors to Ocean Park at festive days. Well, we, in our design, we hope to be able to cope with sudden peak demand from the Ocean Park. Regarding facilities for the disabled and toilets, well, there are washrooms at stations. And for the disabled, you might have noted that our cars, we have multi-purpose space for wheelchairs and baby prams. And then we also have tactile tracks, guidance path within our stations. We will closely communicate with our neighbors and centers, and we'll discuss with them closer to the opening of the trains. Regarding a nursing room, we do have possible arrangements, and when they need, people need only to approach our staff. As for the rehabilitation center of the Tonghua Group of Hospital of Tonghua Group Hospital, well, we have maintained very close liaison with them because it's very close to our Wong Chuk Hang depot. And then just next to the building, there will be a station. When we planned for the station and during our construction, we have monthly, if not weekly, meetings with the center, and we'll also try to arrange with them to coordinate when works might affect their operation. So we have maintained very close liaison with the center. Well, on the Wong Chuk Hang station, there would be probably residential developments. So you're going to build on top of the station. So have you discussed that with the center? And I'd like to know whether the washrooms will be within the station, and people can just go in and out without asking for a key from your staff. And what about the nursing room? Well, we do not have a dedicated room for that, for mothers to nurse their babies. Rather, we have some function rooms in our stations, and if necessary, we can arrange for passengers to use these rooms. And toilets is free for passengers to use. Regarding residential development on Wong Chuk Hang Station, in our early planning stage, we had a discussion with the district council and the community. The rehabilitation center did give us input. There are various designs for the for the station and also the development, and we're now working on master layout plan. There have been various discussions in the community. In addition to the center, other people in the community can also comment on the master layout plan. Mr. Wong Kwok Heng. This is a 3-car configuration, and as asked by Mr. Michael Tan, what if whether you can, and he said that you can double your frequency when demand is higher or with population growth. Why can't you have a 4-car configuration? Because a 3-car configuration is only 1 car more than the light rail system. Just in case that you have maximized your capacity by doubling your frequency, is it true that you cannot expand your capacity further? Can you be flexible in the length of the platform so that you can accommodate trains with more than 3 cars? Is it possible? And the terminus is at South Horizons. Can you consider extending that to cover Wah Kwai Estate, Wah Fu Estate, and even Cyberport? Is there any intention to expand your line? Because the population is growing at Cyberport and in Wah Fu and Wah Kwai. So is it possible? Chairman, let me answer the second part of Mr. Wong's question first. There are SIL East and SIL West. We are now discussing SIL East. Conceptually, we do have SIL West, so what is the way forward? In the review and update of RDS 2000, we have improvement and enhancement of district lines. And we will conduct public consultation on such matters. As the chairman said, in March, there will be an agenda item on the RDS, and then we will then have proposals for improving and enhancing the existing lines. And for the rest of the question, I defer to the MTRCL. Thank you. Mr. Wong asked whether we can accommodate 4 cars instead of 3. we decided to use a 3-car configuration because the platform will be much smaller, and then the footprint of the station will be smaller, and this will give us more flexibility in alignment, planning, and station design, so that we can place our stations in the heart of the densely populated communities. So we have tried our very best to accommodate the demands of the public. If we want a 4-car platform instead, it won't be feasible in some of the locations for the stations. And with all of the view that a 3-car configuration will be able to cope with future growth. Your current design is just for the SIL East. What if you are going to extend it to have SIL West? Then a 3-car train would not be sufficient. I suggest that you take into account the SILW. It's just like the Island Line. The train terminates at Chai Wan, and residents in Siu Sai Wan are complaining. So currently, your terminus is at South Horizons. What if it is going to be extended into the Cyberport and Wah Fu and Wah Kwai? We've already taken into account the patronage from the western section. And when the SIOS is built, it can help us to divert some of the passengers away because the complete link will reach the Western District. And the Highways Department is studying the related matters. I hope that you can take a more long-term view. Well, even if you have the SI West, at most the SI East can only reach South Horizons, and your capacity cannot be boosted here. Well, the capacity has already taken into account possible patronage from the SI West. I hope you have not underestimated the patronage. Thank Mr. Lo Wai Kwok. Well, you are going to use a new FAO, and you've also got various energy-saving measures, including the regenerative energy design. This is very desirable. I support this. As regards the FAO, it is not really brand new in Hong Kong because the airport and also the Disney Resort line is already using that. And people traveling to other places have already tried that out in other cities. But I'm quite concerned about the section from Admiralty to Ocean Park. This is quite a long distance. What if there is an incident in the middle of this journey, and the train is caught in a tunnel, and if passengers have to be dispersed or evacuated, then I think the presence of a staff member from the corporation does make a difference. So I'd like to ask, without a staff member around, what are you going to do with the evacuation of passengers in case of an emergency? And you have overhead lines, or you have viaducts along the alignment. Are they close to residential buildings? If yes, what have you done in terms of noise control and noise insulation? Thank you, Mr. Low, for your questions. Handling of incidents. If there is an incident within a tunnel, we will try to move the train into a station first as far as possible. This is already our policy at present. We try to move a train into the station as far as possible. We don't want to handle an emergency in the middle of a tunnel. And if the train is stuck, really stuck in a tunnel, the control officer will first see whether the incident can be fixed. This is what we are doing currently. If it is found not possible, we arrange for the next train to push the problematic train into the next station, and the handling is exactly what we have for existing lines. If even this doesn't work, if we really have to evacuate the passengers within the tunnel, our current practice is to send staff to walk from stations into the tunnel to help evacuate passengers. Passengers can be evacuated at both ends. Currently, the driver can only take care of passengers going to one direction, and then staff will help to evacuate passengers to the other direction. Depending on the duration of incident, we may send a rescue vehicle or emergency vehicle to help. On the two ends of the landfill station, we have tracks for rescue cars or emergency cars to send our staff into the tunnel to help. Second part about noise insulation. In the design of rolling stock and tracks, well, at grade sections, we also have noise barriers. We have a lot of noise mitigating measures. For instance, the motor of our cars will be wrapped by insulation materials. There will also be mufflers to reduce the noise, and there will also be a noise insulation devices. And the design of the track is such that noise will be minimized. And we will, through repair maintenance, will closely monitor the condition of our tracks, because by grinding, polishing, and our wheels and also tracks, we can help to reduce noise.
Mrs. Regina Yip. Chairman, they have briefed us on the progress of the railway system and the construction of the lines. Can you tell us something about the superstructure development and the economic implications on the district? Well, just now, Mr. Wong Kok King talked about the SIL West. But may I remind everyone that in relation to Wah Fu and Wah Kwai, the Housing Authority has studied the redevelopment of Wah Fu and Wah Kwai. And you should pay attention to the timetable, because if redevelopment project is underway, then nobody will take the train. I hope the THB will pay attention to this point. It should tie in with the proposed redevelopment. Last time I asked a question not about the South Island line but about the Siu Sai Wan extension. I hope the THB can answer my question on this. Chairman, perhaps let me answer the last two questions asked by Mrs. Yip first. Now, for South Island line, back then, the proposal was that apart from the SILE, there would be an SIL West extending to Wah Fu, Wah Kwai, etc. As for the actual implementation of the plan and the demand from the district, we have undertaken that in the review and update of the railway strategy at stage 2 of the public engagement exercise, we are going to look into that and see whether is possible to discuss to seek views from the public. Mrs. Yip also talked about the redevelopment projects of Wah Fu and Wah Kwai. Well, perhaps it's not the scope of the meeting, but anyway, I'll just say something about it. At present, we do not have any plan to redevelop Wah Kwai and Wah Fu yet. There are considerations, for example, on the reprovisioning of or rehousing of affected residents. We need to think thoroughly before we proceed with the redevelopment project. At present, we do not have this in mind. As for these residential development on the superstructure of Wong Chuk Hang Depot, I'll defer to MTLC. Basically, on top of the depot, there will be an there will be a public transport interchange as well as the depot under the superstructure. We are proceeding with planning work. We hope that once the depot is constructed, we can proceed with the superstructure development. We have overall layout plan. We finished overall planning, and at this stage we are considering different site parameters and holding discussions at the district level. Well, basically we need to consider the demand in the district in terms of residential units. We're going to provide 4,700 residential units, and in the southern district, there are already a lot of hotel developments, and there is a demand for shopping space and public space as well. And these will be our consideration in working with the community. And a few years back, we discussed with the local community on the retail shop space, and at present we're still in the planning stage. Next, Mr. Christopher Chung. I'd like to follow up on Wah Fu and Wah Kwai. You say that you do not have the plan in mind, but for this railway line, you're not going to use it for just a decade. It will be used for decades. How can you not factor in the redevelopment of Wah Fu and Wah Kwai? Now, I mean, the Wah Fu and Wah Kwai was built in the 60s, and if redevelopment project takes place, the new estate will accommodate over 100,000 population, and you're still sticking to 3-car consideration. It's impossible for people to take other routes. Say, for example, if it's there is a soccer match, if there is the brand and products expo. With this 3-car configuration, how can you have a sufficient capacity if it's not expandable, it's not extendable? So if we don't push you now, it will be our fault, because this is a design flaw. And for example, for the Chai Wan matter, I have been dealing with you for over 1 or 2 decades, and still the matter is not yet resolved. Third point, why have you amended your practice? I mean, why isn't there anybody there with the adoption of FAO? Just now, Deputy Chairman also said that the journey from Admiralty to Ocean Park is some 5 or 6 kilometers long. If something disastrous happened, if a catastrophe happened, then passengers will be trapped in the train. And even if if there is a driver there, the driver can give public announcements. If you only rely on the OCC, if there is no signal reception, if the mobile phones don't work, what will happen? Say if in a few months, if there is a war waged because of Diaoyu Islands, and some terrorists drops a bomb in the train, what will happen? I mean, it's out of our expectation, but nobody thought of the Japanese waging a war with us. So you should think about that. If you're not confident enough, perhaps you should put a driver in the train. In our design, in relation to public announcement and incident handling, as said just now, the control officer of the OCC will be in charge of it. As for the remote system, as for the announcement system, there will be a backup equipment. So the chance of everything being faulty is slim. As for announcement that you hear right now, basically, most of them come from the control center, and the officer at the control center basically is in a better position to make such announcements. Well, please save your speech. Let's say if all the communications are cut off, with backup electricity, the driver can still make announcement to passengers. Because all of a sudden, if it happens, passengers will know nothing. Well, you talk about backup equipment, but what about backup equipment failure as well? I have been in the computer industry for decades. Of course, some machines can go wrong. That's why we have backups. But backups can go wrong as well. Yes, but for the communication systems on the train, of course, there is a chance it may become faulty. But in the case of an incident, if the train comes to a halt, if there is communication error, like I said just now, another train will be deployed to push the faulty train back to the depot, and the passengers in the front train will be evacuated. That's no different than what we're doing now. But what if in extreme scenarios like war or something like that, all trains have come to a halt? If there is nobody in the lead to evacuate passengers, what will happen? I think what he's trying to say is that you need to consider the worst scenario. If there is no driver on board the train, how can you handle the 2,000 passengers on board? This is a question, and I hope that you can provide some information in the future. I think that for the system that you have adopted, I believe we have enough overseas experience that maybe we can share this information with members. So, thank you, Chairman. Well, just now in the slides, it's said that the FAO is very safe. But according to the administration's information, in 2010 and 2011, the Disneyland line and the Hong Kong Airport APM, which are using the FAO, have experienced a number of incidents as well. 17 increased to 21 cases. These are the figures. So first point, can you tell us anything to reassure us that things will be operated smoothly? Second point, in case of incidents, apart from deploying another train to push the train forward, will there be other measures? For example, having something like the existing emergency switch or emergency or a hammer that can be used to break the glass for ventilation, so that passenger safety will not be affected in the event of emergency situations. Now, another point is about regenerative energy. I am very interested in it because it seems that a lot of energy can be saved with this system installed. Energy can be saved up to 40%. Since it's very efficient, will the administration promote the use of these designs in other lines? Now, about screen doors, I can see that there are two types: one up to the waist and one full length. And as I gather, there are problems for old-style platform. It works like a piston, and temperature is cold because of ventilation in this manner. But with full-length screen doors, temperature has gone up. So I don't know if you can adopt designs like screen door at the top and bottom with the middle part for left empty for air ventilation, so that the temperature within the station can be maintained. Perhaps I'll talk about the screen doors first. It's fully enclosed for underground stations, for viaduct or for above ground stations. It's waist length. Between the tunnel and the station, in fact, there are ventilation outlets. So the piston actually doesn't push air to the station, but to the ventilation outlets. And there are also inlets that allow air in. So we're going to adopt the same design. On energy saving measures, for example, the solid overhead conductor rail, 40% of the power loss during transmission can be reduced. Not that overall speaking 40% of energy can be reduced. Still, it's very efficient, and we'll try to adopt this design in other lines. However, there are problems. For existing railway lines, a lot of things will have to be done to accommodate this new design, including the supporting frame, etc. And we are looking into the technical aspect and see if these problems can be resolved. But these problems may not all be resolved. And we'll try to adopt more energy-saving measures when we review and revamp our existing systems. As for incidents, if a train is trapped inside a tunnel or stuck inside a tunnel, we are going to have a backup battery so that air ventilation will continue to work to ensure the comfort of passengers. And in train compartments, there is the upper window that can be opened. If necessary, these windows can be opened by passengers. As for the Disneyland line, we have gained much experience in the operation of FAO, and we have also learned from overseas examples. For the problems encountered before, we'll try to resolve the problems by introducing FAO. We believe that the efficiency will be higher than that of the Disneyland line. As for overseas railway systems, they have gained much success. For example, for Paris Line 14, since its commissioning, it was found that the reliability has increased substantially comparing to other lines.
Mr. Gary Fan, I have a few questions. The first one is for the Secretary. For the establishment of the Bureau is to coordinate two important policies, namely transport and housing. And I agree with colleagues that we should adopt a long-term view. There should be proper coordination in the provision of transport and housing. So colleagues asked whether you can cater for a four-car configuration in the future in anticipation of residential developments or redevelopment of Wah Kwai and Wah Fu. I held a press conference earlier on to reflect to the media that if only luxury flats are built on Wong Chuk Kang Station, is not desirable for the housing supply in Hong Kong. And if the administration plans to develop public housing on Hong Kong Island, then transport facilities should support housing developments. So I think there should be spare capacity on SILEs to cater for possible population growth. So can we have a four-car configuration instead? And Wong Chuk Kang will be an interchange station for the Island West Line as well. So I'd like to know whether even for Wong Chuk Kang Station you can only accommodate 3 cars. And is there any intention to pull down Wah Fu and Wah Kwai estates and build private housing instead, so that you believe that a 3-car configuration with such a small capacity will be able to cope with the future population? And if the administration hasn't thought about this yet, and if Wah Fu and Wah Kwai are to be redeveloped into PRH again, then 3-car is not enough. Now, as a generalist, I'd like to ask the experts in the EMSD. You say that the maximum headway or the minimum headway can be 2 minutes. How does that compare with Kwun Tong and Island Line and also other lines? Is it true that for the other lines you want to lower the headway to 2 minutes as well? These lines have to operate on FAO as well. Is it true that in future all lines will have to adopt FAO, because before you can have such a high frequency? And in answering Mr. Wu Chi-wai's question, the administration said for the viaducts, the semi-platform screen doors will be used. Will they be the design of Kwai Fong and Kwai Hing or that of Kwun Tong? Because for semi-platform screen doors, if it's just half enclosed, it's okay when we are very hot. But if you are thinking of the design in Kwun Tong, that is not good. Can you ensure comfort for passengers? And number 4, the interchange stations. Chang Kwan O, the Chang Kwan line makes use of Teo Keng Ling and Chang Kwan O for interchange. That goes the same for Chuen Wan and Kwun Tong. Interchange can be done at Yau Ma Tei, Prince Edward and Mong Kok to alleviate the overcrowdedness at a particular interchange station. So for this, you only have just Wong Chuk Kang? Will you use Ocean Park as well as an interchange? Thank you. You only have 45 seconds to answer. Well, for Wah Fu Wah Kwai, why don't we leave it to the next meeting? Mr. Leung, can you answer the questions of Mr. Fan? Right, regarding the headway of 2 minutes. For Chuen Wan, Kwun Tong and Island lines, we can already achieve the headway of 2 minutes. that means by adopting FAO, you cannot further enhance the efficiency. We're already doing that. Well, when we consider the frequency, a number of factors at play. The system is one thing, and other restrictions are the alignment. SIL East is possible. Well, for SIL East, there are a lot of constraints related to the topography, but using the state-of-the-art technology, we're able to achieve a headway of 2 minutes. The railway company has talked to us about the safety of FAO, but residents are still worried because of the clash on the mainland. So can you ensure the safety of passengers under FAO? How many trains can be accepted on the tracks at the same time? And how many people are there in the control center to monitor the situation? The whole railway is supposed to be funded by the government, and the property development right is granted to the MTRCL. I'd like to know the revenue from residential development will be used to subsidize fare revenues. And there is a great demand for connection roads or links, pathways to various residential developments. Will that be provided? Regarding the safety and reliability of the FAO, as I said, we have very stringent procedures to monitor. Regarding the clash, I think members will talk about the incident in Shanghai. That incident had nothing to do with the signaling system. Rather, there was something wrong with the power supply system. So the signaling system stopped operation, but then because of the fail-safe design, the automatic system was suspended and it turned into manual operation. It's standard procedures all over the world. For some reasons, there was an incident. Because the station staff let another train into the station even before the previous one had left, and that had nothing to do with the signaling system. It was just purely human error. Regarding the financial arrangements, SIL is a property development plus railway development model. Is not totally funded by the government. For the long-term operation of the railway, when capital will be needed, the traditional model in Hong Kong is to use the profits from property development to make up for the shortage in funds for the railway development. So revenue from property development on Wong Chuk Hang Station will be used to fund the will be used to make up the shortage in funds for constructing the railway. So we have already taken into account the possible revenue from residential development. So you already have the fare structure? Well, all railway lines in Hong Kong have the same system for determining fares. We have the same fare structure. So in determining the fares for SIL East, we will follow the current system. And I missed an earlier question regarding interchange. In 2011, when we announced the project, we have already included a number of PTI and also connection roads to be provided in the district. That includes feeder roads or footbridges Wong Chuk Hang and also various locations, because residents are concerned as to how they can be linked up. They can be connected to the station by various footbridges and footpaths. Well, the exact fares will be announced before the line is commissioned. And you have to understand that when you board at South Horizons, you may not necessarily get off at Admiralty. You might want to go to Sha Tin or Tin Shui Wai or Central. So the fare structure would be more or less the same as what we have now. So a lot of members have asked questions, and I'd just like to remind or to mention to remind members that for Island West line, the Island West line, we have another opportunity at the next meeting. SILEs will only be commissioned in 2015. Some members asked about safety of the systems, and in due course, we can arrange for a visit to see the operations control centers and also the depot and the trains, so the members can understand the future system better. We welcome this arrangement. A lot of members talk about the safety of the FAO, and in fact the administration shares this concern of members. Using an FAO to operate a line with 7 kilometers in a tunnel is really something very special in Hong Kong. So before commissioning, the corporation must give us a plan, a contingency plan to handle contingencies or emergencies. The EMSD will be the gatekeeper, and we must have a plan to allow the public to understand and to get used to the system, because there is the question of passengers' reception and impression. We will ask the corporation to give us a comprehensive plan before we allow commissioning of the trains. We're very concerned about the safety of passengers. So, Chairman, as you suggested, when the system is almost complete, we can arrange for a visit for members to visit the system. We are more than happy to do that. Thank you very much, MTLCL, for this topic. We'll go on to the next item. The next item is approach and updates of MTL Station Art Program. Let's invite the MTLCL to come into the room.
We have a representative from the administration and from the MTRCL, Mr. Wilfred Young, Chief Architect, and Ms. Maggie So, Deputy General Manager, Projects and Property Communications. Secretary, would you like to briefly take us through the item? Chairman, perhaps I will invite representatives of the MTRCL to brief you on the MTR art program with the aid of a PowerPoint presentation. We need this PowerPoint presentation because there are a lot of visual displays. Thank you, Chairman, members. I'm happy to have this opportunity to take members through the progress and updates of the MTR program. Well, we like to say that Hong Kong is a desert, is a cultural desert. And if you look at this picture, you can see that in the 1980s, MTR is a transport solution. And indeed, in those years, there was no art in MTR stations. But now, as an international city, it is almost a must for public and government buildings to have artwork displays, and the art and MTR program have been introduced since 1998. It's been more than 10 years, and we have 40 pieces of artwork currently on display at 34 stations. And as a railway operator, we have been acknowledged worldwide in terms of promoting art in the railway stations, and we took part in the first meeting of the UITP Art in Transit Conference. There were tens of participants, comprising railway operators and artists as well. I'm sorry, Mr. Young, your presentation is going to take quite long. It will be more than 30 minutes, I guess. So let's take us through very briefly. Well, there are four major objectives for our program. To enhance traveling environment, showcase the diversity of cultural and historical characteristics of local districts, and help to promote the appreciation of art in Hong Kong, and to provide a channel for local artists to exhibit their talents. We have artwork by local artists, international artists, and mainland artists. Basically, half of the artworks are from local artists, and also some from the mainland artists and other overseas artists. This is a good proportion because we want to introduce art to different people in Hong Kong. We hope that we can bring art in their lives, and our goal is to introduce 3 new pieces of artwork in existing stations every year, and for new stations, artwork will be installed before they're commissioned. And for new stations, there won't be just one piece of artwork. For large stations, there might be 2 or 3 pieces. And a recent artwork for existing stations, for Mong Kok Station, in November last year, this one was completed, is now on display, and we're now proceeding with Shao Kei Wan Station. And the work will be completed in March this year, and this one in Sheung Station also to be completed within 2013. It's a river flow theme that ties in with the Shangyu River in Sheung. And there are 4 approaches. First is community engagement, collaboration with local groups, open call for proposals, and proposals will be sought from selected artists who are experienced. These are basically the 4 approaches. I'll just talk about the 2 new railway lines. First is the West Island Line. West Island Line is supported by local residents. We hope that local residents can also be engaged in the process. And in terms of artwork, there are different degrees of participation. First is our Memories of the Western District photo contest. It's open to everyone in Hong Kong, and photographs should be taken in the vicinity of the 3 stations, and shortlisted entries will be posted online for polling. And the winning entries, and that's 8 photos, will be made into mega murals. And these are some of the winning entries. We have put it up as a large mural, and each one comprising different photos. This will cover almost half of the station concourse, spanning around 60 meters to 100 meters. This one is the University Station, Hong Kong University Station, and there are different mega murals in different stations as well. And we also conduct a photo collection campaign, and these photos collected will be collaged into mega mural. And you can see some day-to-day photos taken by residents. The other program is called our Impressions of the Western District. We work with arts groups and Central and Western District Council and local groups. We take students in a workshop to create scenes, illustration depicting scenes of the district, and this will be put in Sai Ying Pun Station and Hong Kong University Station. And this is the illustrator Stella So's work with the participation of students. She drew scenes of the Western District, and the students then drew children in buildings, etc., and students took part in it. And this is the mural at the lift lobby at concourse, and even within the lift car there is artwork, and it's a set of mega murals. The next artwork is photos shot by artist Luke Ching, who captured images of historical buildings and street scenes of the district, Western District. It's done by pinhole cameras, and there are 8 kaleidoscope images which shows the features of the buildings. And we also have a media briefing and sharing session with students' participation. You can see that the students were delighted in having their artwork displayed in the station. One of our partners is Hong Kong University. It is also a unique characteristic in the Western District. We have an exit leading to Wong Ha King Building. And for this passageway of about 120 meters, we have given the space for Hong Kong U to compile a series of images of the Hong Kong University of Hong Kong centenary, which shows the changes of the university over the century. Now I'll come to talk about the South Island line. There are 5 stations from Admiralty to South Horizons. Admiralty Stations is quite unique because it's located in the prime location, Hong Kong, and it's also the first 4-line interchange station in Hong Kong and a major transport hub. So 3 pieces of large artwork will be displayed at the station. After the Harcourt Garden is reprovisioned, the garden will be reprovisioned on the podium level, and there will be a large sculpture. We have actually started the competition or contest, and we have received around 60 pieces of artwork. 5 have been shortlisted. We have proceeded with the second stage design, and on the 11th this month the artists are going to submit their finalized design. And in the Admiralty Station there will be a large concourse atrium where another piece of artwork will be positioned, and we're going to invite experienced artists to provide proposals for our selection. And also between the Admiralty Station South Island Line East platform, we've also reserved space for a piece of artwork to be hung from the ceiling. And we're going to start an open call for proposals for Ocean Park Station. As for other stations like Wong Chuk Hang, Lei Tong and South Horizon Station, because of the strong local community groups in these areas, we're going to engage the community in artwork development. For Ocean Park Station, these are the 5 shortlisted entries. Wong Chuk Hang Station. We work with the Hong Kong Young Artists Association, and this is the birds and Wong Chuk Hang theme, because there are a lot of migrant birds in Wong Chuk Hang, and we're going to put up a three-dimensional sculpture. As for Lei Tong Station, similar to what is done to the West Island Line, we also will also engage the public or community, and the theme for Lei Tong Station will be fishing community, because there are a lot of rituals of the fishing community in and around Lei Tong, and artists will and students will create artwork with paper cutting techniques. And for South Horizons Station, students will also take part in the artwork with the theme of Horizon and Sea. Like I said just now, altogether there are 6 stations under this program, and we collaborate with the Art Promotion Office under the LCSD. We have 6 stations: the Kennedy Town Station, Ho Man Tin Station, 3 locations, and the South Island Line and Admiralty Station, Ocean Park Station. We have looked at the shortlisted entries just now for Admiralty and other stations. We can also look at the 5 shortlisted entries for Ho Man Tin Station. And outside Ho Man Tin Station, there will be a public open space, and artwork will be displayed there at these 2 locations. And there will also be a footbridge across Chatham Road North, and space will be reserved for artwork display. These are the 5 shortlisted entries. And towards the end of May, a winning entry will be selected. In conclusion, the MTRCL will continue to promote and enhance the art program to provide a pleasant traveling environment for passengers, showcase cultural and historical characteristics of each district, and strengthen the art element in the railway system as well as Hong Kong. So much for my presentation. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Young. 4 members have raised their hands. Okay, members, please raise your hands. Cheng Han Pang, Christopher Chung, Wong Kwok Heng, Gary Fan, Michael Tin, Elizabeth Quat, any other? Wu Ji Wai. I'll draw a line here. I need to keep watch of the time. Chen Han Pan. Chairman, it's a good thing for each station to have its own design. It will also give passengers a strong impression. But now for the concourse, platform, and train compartments of the MTR, you can see that basically they are full of advertisement signboards. For Central, Causeway Bay, Kowloon Tong stations, these are the busiest, most crowded stations, and and they are all covered in advertisements. So would you consider toning down the commercial element and reserving more space for artwork displays? This is my question. Thank you. Who'd like to take this question? Well, in my opinion, artwork cannot fill up the whole station. So when we select artwork pieces, we will select the location where the artwork itself can be respected and appreciated. It cannot just be positioned anywhere. You can see that for the Admiralty Passageway, there is a long pathway for the artwork to be displayed, and also outside the, at the lift lobby, this will also be a location for artwork display. This is our principle.
What I mean is, advertisements are everywhere in the stations. So even if artworks are placed in a particular station, they'll be drowned by the advertisements nearby. So the theme may be birds or fishermen, the fishing folk, and such artworks are in the minority. If the majority we see in a station is advertisements, then they will drown the message being sent across by art in the station. So will you adjust the ratio of advertisements and artworks in the station? For instance, if the theme is the fishing folk, can you have fewer advertisements so that the art message will really stand out? Well, for many art lovers, or we also want passengers to have some relief when traveling on our trains, but we have to strike a balance. We have to provide the necessary information to passengers, and advertisements can also subsidize our fare revenue. So we'll always try to strike a balance when artworks are placed. We ensure that there is space between the artworks and also the advertisements, so that the latter will not be in the way of passengers to appreciate art there. Mr. Christopher Zhong, I beg to differ. It's all about your design. In places like Moscow, well, their whole station is full of art, so it's just your adjustment. I appreciate the company has been it has a heart for art for so many years. But you have to change people's impression. We want to give people the impression that Hong Kong is not just a commercial city. Whether people will feel suffocated is just about your design. For instance, can you allow artists to have a short explanation for 15 seconds or 30 seconds, and then you should also think from the perspective of art in your building. It's good that you include artists, but you also have to think about art in the community. You have places where pedestrian flow is lower. Can you provide space for budding artists or community artists to display something innovative and creative on a short-term basis that will help to promote art in the community? Thank you. Mr. Zhong. Our presentation just covered the permanent setup. In fact, in our stations, we have short-term art displays, and we also have space for schools to use. We call them community art gallery, to allow schools to display works of students. We also have short-term roving exhibitions. Take the footbridges as an example. You think that you need only one artwork to make it attractive, but why don't you place more artworks? I have seen one in Germany where there were flowers which would be lit up if you walk past a particular site. So don't think that you are being don't think that it's good enough just to place the one masterpiece of a famous artist, and you think that that is okay. Can you be more innovative so that you can promote art in the community? Mr. Wong Kwok Heng. I support the MTRC's move to introduce art in MTR. I'm most impressed by the particular exit in North Point Station, the walls of the particular edit aligned by pictures drawn by students. Although the North Point estate no longer exists, but that was really impressive. And you have electronic display, and I hope that your TV channels will not just be used for advertisements. We have a few big art groups funded by public money. Can you allow them to use your TV channels and electronic display for free publicity of the performances? For instance, the Central Library, the Art Gallery, the History Museum, and also a few art groups are funded by the government. Please give them free advertising space or airtime. Is that possible? We can consider that. We know that many art groups have approached us hoping to make use of our space for advertising the program. Well, of course, if you accept advertisements from them, you get money. I'm talking about allowing them to use your airtime and your space free of charge. You give them time slots to publicize their activities. Is that allowed? Yes, we can consider that. You have to report to us your progress. Do not just say you consider this possibility. Are you already doing that? Well, for advertisements, we offer, we give them space for free advertisements. But for electronic media, are we doing that? We have NGOs and charitable organizations are using our advertising space free of charge on an annual basis. They can approach us if necessary. And for the electronic media in MTR, because we've just started it not long ago, and the usage is quite busy, so we have not considered this yet. But of course, we can take on board members' suggestion. Of course, these organizations concerned have to produce their own short video clips, but we're willing to consider this possibility. Well, this is a social responsibility. The MTRCO should take the initiative to promote art in the community, and I'm sure you have the capacity to do that, because our railway system is very busy, and it's a good avenue to promote art in the community. Mr. Gary Fan would like to criticize the MTR for trying to squeeze every penny out of our pocket, and I think for such good initiatives, we should praise the corporation for that. Of course, we should have better designed stations where we can have toilets and artworks for people to appreciate. Regarding the invitation for artists to submit their ideas and works and to cooperate with local groups, well, this is already a government policy. Well, very rarely do I agree with Mr. Christopher Zhou. Now I agree with him. I believe that the MTRCO should even be bolder. Mr. Yang is an architect. I think he understands what I'm talking about. A good piece of architecture is already a piece of art. So if we can be bold enough, well, for the SIL, some of the viaducts can be better designed so that it become a major icon, or a landmark. So if the viaducts or stations are aesthetically impressive, then the MTRCL should encourage that. And the LCSD is already incorporating art in functional installations of parks. For instance, benches or chairs in parks can also be an artwork. So I hope you keep what is good and keep it up. For instance, in Diamond Hill and Choi Hong, by using some tiles, you're able to give a very unique flavor to the stations. At Diamond Hill Station, you use silver tiles to highlight the unique character of the station. That was excellent. And members mentioned a number of subways in other stations, such as Taiwan. They do not just place artworks, they place literary works. On a regular basis, they display works by local poets or works of local literary artists. So instead of advertisements, you can have literary works displayed on cars so that you can have a wider selection of artworks, not just visual arts or sculptures. You can have literary arts as well. I agree. Architecture is already an art. I agree. But given Hong Kong is limited in space, it's not always easy even to find a place for the station. And sometimes we cannot incorporate art in the station, but there is room for this in some new stations. I hope that when you see the XRL terminal, you will see that it is a beautiful piece of art. And for Admiralty Station, an interchange for 4 lines and is another outstanding piece of art. But it's not always possible. As an architect, I also want to see pretty stations, but sometimes stations are really in the middle of the road or underground, and the room for maneuver is limited. But we have heard your views, and we will consider them as far as possible. Mr. Michael Tian. Thank you, Chairman. First, I must praise the MTRCL. KCL was totally owned by the government. So most of the walls were white and bland. And now you are a listed company, you are a commercial organization, yet you are willing to do this. This is commendable. I have a few questions for the corporation. You need commercial revenue, otherwise there will be fare increases. I believe you will use the airspace. Wall space is also valuable. Floor space is also valuable. It can be rented. So I'm sure you are going to choose locations where passenger flow or traffic is low. Because for places where passenger traffic is high, you will use it to make money. Well, in other countries, I have seen cases where the most impressive artworks are placed at locations where people scarcely walk through. So I hope that you can strike a balance, reserve some valuable wall space for murals. But of course, when the corporation comes to ask for fare hikes, colleagues should not criticize. What about the production costs? For the mega artworks, will the production costs be borne by the artist or by the company? And will the production costs be factored into the fares? And will you have limited lifespan for some small-scale artworks because we don't want to see the same piece of artwork for decades. So what is the lifespans of the display items? Or will you ask the public to evaluate? For the most popular ones, you keep them. For the less popular ones, you have them removed. Do you have such a mechanism? Otherwise, an installation can be there forever.
Now, when East Rail is renovated, you have installed the information system on board the carriages. But will there be electronic broadcasting system throughout the territory? For example, for broadcasting news or to provide information on the characteristics of the local district, etc., because this will also help Hong Kong. Mr. Tin is very familiar with railways. He was very right about floor space and wall space. We do not want to put the artwork at the locations where no people go, and that's why we have suggested an artwork to be hung from the ceiling. And that's more effective because nobody can use the space, and the area will be frequented by passengers as well. So you can see that we definitely will not put the artwork at one corner because this will be disrespectful. If you look at our recent artwork display works, you can see that, for example, in Mong Kok Station, the artwork is a big piece situated at a prominent location. Now the cost is covered in the renovation project, and we will not rely on this excuse to ask for a fair hike. We will not ask for a replacement of artwork because so far we have not had one artwork per station. When we can accomplish that, we will consider replacing artwork displays from time to time. Electronic media system, we will consider introducing or install such system along existing railway lines. Now, for the electronic media system, what timetable do you have in mind? Because for emergency situations and notification systems, etc., if you have something on display for people to see, this will make a big difference. As far as the installation technology is concerned, there shouldn't be any problem. When we renovate cars of the train, this will be done. We estimate that this can be done in 2016. That means by 2016, all railway lines in Hong Kong will be equipped with real-time news broadcasting system. Chairman, I think that the members are concerned about the announcement system on board the trains. In the past, apart from East Rail, for new trains in new railway lines, the system is also installed. If we are to introduce the electronic display system, we need to consider the cabling, etc., and the wiring. And for existing train cars, they will have to be disassembled before we can install the system. So we will consider before 2016 whether this plan can be implemented and whether it is feasible to do so. The existing train cars will be phased out gradually. So at present we do not have a concrete timetable, but if we decide to go ahead with it, we will communicate fully with members. I hope that you can do this as soon as possible. Real-time information is important. Apart from dissemination of information in emergency situations, it may become necessary. Elizabeth Quart. I appreciate MTR for having this MTR art program. Its contribution to art promotion in Hong Kong. Apart from promoting art and culture in Hong Kong and also promotion of local characteristics, I hope that this can be more inspiring. Very often when we visit other countries, we see that the art or creative work will inspire visitors. It is innovative and it can also inspire other creative ideas. According to the MTR's information, I can see that they are already doing a very good job because they have engaged the public and engaged the different districts, but I don't see any multimedia creation or interactive element in it. Most of the artworks are mega murals or sculptures, but in fact creation can be in different forms, for example multimedia or interactive artwork. This can also widen the horizon of our young people. Just now Mr. Christopher Chong or Mr. Gary Fan also made this point. The building is an art itself. I understand that it's somewhat difficult in Hong Kong, but in fact, even for a seat or a column, you can do something about its design. For existing stations, of course, you need to be economic, but there is still room for art creation. In other countries, for example, some underground stations have become tourist spots. Tourists like to go to these stations and take pictures, just like Mexico, and this can serve as an example for us. And there should be multifarious artworks. So far, it's basically two-dimensional display or sculpture. Well, I'm not saying that space should be reserved for people to give performance or to perform singing there, but space can be reserved for people to have some form of art performance or to have multimedia performance. And we can also promote reading culture. Some sort of book festival or book exchange program. Say, for example, some stations can be designated as exchange points for people to go there and exchange books. And local artists also need our support. Apart from space, they also need support in terms of the budget. So the MTRCL should provide more support. It's not just about an open contest or competition. Even during ordinary times, you should allow a local artist to make applications so as to facilitate art development in Hong Kong. Multimedia, we have a performance space, and that's the place between Central Station and Hong Kong Station. We have tunnel between the two stations, and every Friday a time slot will be reserved for art performance. Multimedia. Well, technology is constantly evolving, and we have seen artwork with specialized computer effects, and we cannot rule out the display of such artwork in the future. We start the art collection program because we like the artists to tell us what can be done. We have given them absolute freedom for them to create their piece, we do not set down any criteria. When we invite an artist to take part in our program, we do not tell the artist what to do. We give the artist absolute freedom in his creation. So basically, I support the MTR art program. This is a good direction. Although from the paper, the focus is mainly on visual art, I hope that apart from visual art, different art forms can also be incorporated in the program. Very often, we just focus our attention on these things. MTR stations, you have two large entrance and exits where where passenger flow is heavy. But in fact, we can also make use of the space at the concourse or platform. These are good spots as well. About visual arts, at present, artists are commissioned to create pieces of artwork. But will you consider engaging the public, inviting them to submit proposals on what should be put on display, and that is to say, you only provide the venue? Because this will allow greater degree of creativity and better use of space. Because once the space is reserved, you will fill it up with artwork before you consider any other alternatives. So what about shorter term measures like exhibitions? Roving exhibitions, yes, we do have roving exhibitions, but not as a venue. The exhibition will take place for a period of time at a certain spot before it goes on to other spots. We need to consider fire service installations and other safety requirements. It's not feasible for us to put artwork there and disregard all these requirements. Of course, it's subject to site constraints and other fire safety requirements, etc. But what I'm suggesting is that apart from permanent display of artwork, you can have something of this sort, short-term roving exhibitions, so that artists can have more opportunities to display their creative work. I want to see an unlimited number of artwork to be displayed, but there must be a venue for or a spot for them to display them. In fact, we have a place between Central and Hong Kong Station where artists can display their artwork there, and we replace the piece every few months. All right, so long as you have this idea, I hope that this approach can be extended to other stations as well. If there are no other questions, then I will wrap up this item. Anything to say, Secretary? Chairman, I'd like to thank members for giving a lot of good suggestions on this item. I think that these are valuable views for MTRCL to consider. MTR stations have huge passenger flow. They are very crowded. So for station art program in relation to cultivating art in the community, it's useful and also helps people to alleviate their pressure. So we value members' comments, and MTRCL is quite well resourced, so we do have expectations on the MTRCL. So thank you, members, for your comments. The date of the next meeting is the 1st of March